Welcome back, guys. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification. Okay, so today's video is going to be about a crazy story from last summer where I bought my car, my Chevy Impala, and I took it over to my friends for the first time. And a bunch of interesting things happened. We met some cool, interesting people, and I think you guys are really gonna enjoy it. So let's get into it. So it all began last summer when I bought my '05 Chevy Impala SS. Thing was really cool. Had black racing stripes down it. It was red. We got to, hang out a lot last summer, but yeah, so I was excited about this car, so I took it over to my buddy's house. So I showed up over at his place, and we were chilling out, and we were just hanging. We were talking about the car, and he was excited for it because it was a V8, and neither one of us is loaded, so like Impala SS is like about the closest we're gonna get to a sports car for I don't know how many years, you know what I mean? So we're both, excited about that, to be tooling around in it for the summer. And that's when I met this one odd guy he had living with him. We're gonna call him Jason for the video, so I don't have to like worry about, like him getting pissed off, and I wanna keep him, secret. But anyways, yeah, Jason was an odd guy, right? The first time I met Jason, I walked into the living room, and one of the side rooms that, he had in his house that he was letting the kid live in was kind of like patio doors on it, if that makes sense. It was kind of an odd room. Anyway, so I look in, and I see this dude chilling out on the mattress in silk shorts and like this black tank top that had like white stains on it and stuff all over him. And I seen some on the shorts and stuff when I looked in, and I was, I'm trying to give this dude the benefit of the doubt. I look in, I'm like, "Hey dude, you been doing some painting today?" And he goes, "Oh no, I'm not doing painting." And I'm like, "Well, what are the stains from?" And he just goes, "Well, sometimes when I get done, I just wipe it off on my clothes." And I'm just like, "Oh no. No, 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 no." And and so I go to Corey, like after, our short-lived awkward as heck conversation. And I'm like, "Corey, dude, the guy you have with you, he's having happy time on his clothes, and it's scary." Corey was a nice guy, and he's letting this guy live with him because he felt bad for him. And he's just like, "Dude, I know, okay, he's really strange." So I'm like, "What? Strange how, dude?" And he goes, "Dude, this guy gets up sometimes, and he just goes into the porch, like the back porch, and he's turning off the lights on, and he's just staring out into the night and stuff. And like other times, man, like what this guy will do is he kept stealing mayonnaise and stuff from the kitchen, and it just kept disappearing." And Corey's like, "I don't know what he's doing with it. I don't want to know." It's just he's weird, man. He was so weird, right? Like he used to listen to this goofy music. It was like some weird like mime music. I don't know. It was just odd. All right, and he was just an odd dude, right? So, anyways, we were like, "All right, so let's go, and like get some sodas, my buddy's like, hey man, I want to get a few beers. So I'm like, all right. And he's like, hey man, he goes, can we take Jason with us? And I go, wait, why? And he goes, well, I'm kind of afraid to leave him alone in the house because the last time I did, like, I came back and he was like doing odd stuff. And I'm like, what odd stuff? And he's like, I don't want to get into it, man. I'm like, no, this is pretty bad to make Corey go. I don't want to get into it. So we get in the car and we're driving to these gas stations, and obviously it's like 11 at night, so they're all closed. So we head into like the nearest town and we go into the gas station, and that's where we meet the second odd character of the night. So for this dude, I'm just gonna call him Pokemon Guy. And Pokemon Guy, he was kind of different. He was about 30. He grew up in about the 1990s. Towards the end of them. So he grew up in the Pokemon era, and he was like obsessed with it as a kid, I guess, and he just never really grew out of it. Well, this guy, he was like an okay dude, but it was still kind of different. Like, he always carried around Pokemon cards. He always liked to talk about Pokemon. And he had this weird, like this old, stained, worn out, like Ash Ketchum, Pokemon baseball cap. And, we're like, hey man, like, what are you doing out here? Because we knew him. He, like, was a cook in a restaurant that we used to go to a lot. And he's all like, well, I was playing Pokemon Go and with some friends, and I was getting some really good ones, so I just told them to leave me up here. And he goes, so I was catching Pokemon all day, and me and my buddy, we were, that's the concept is pretty alien to us, so we were like, what the hell? Like, we were looking at each other like, what the heck's going on? Pokemon Guy, he's totally oblivious. He's like, hey, I'll give you guys beer if you go drop me off at my house. And I was on the way back, so we're like, alright, Pokemon Guy, you can come with us, we'll go and, like, hook you up, right? So, as we were leaving, I heard my engine rev up, right? In my car. And okay, so big mistake. I left the car running with Jason in the car. So the dude, he's revving up the engine like crazy. He's freaking redlining the engine, right? So we're like, what the hell's going on? You know what I mean? Like, we were all freaked out and stuff. And I go out there, I'm like, hey dude, what the fuck are you doing to my car? Because he just like revving it and revving it and revving it. And Pokemon Guy, he's like, oh my gosh, there's smoke coming from under the hood. He's freaked out. I'm like, it's okay, Pokemon Guy. And I was like, like, Pokemon Guy, he's freaking out about it. He's like, oh god, there's smoke coming from under the hood. And I'm like, relax, Pokemon Guy, it's fine. You know what? We'll take care of it, right? So we get him in the back seat with Jason. After we move Jason to the back seat, we both hop in the front seat. And, surprisingly, Pokemon Guy and Jason are just talking about Pokemon, and like, that's keeping them preoccupied. And so we start heading back, and I noticed that my temp gauge is rising and rising, and then it starts getting into the red area, so I pulled over, and then we popped the hood, and we found out that that goofy bastard blew the seal on my water pump, and it was leaking like a sieve, right? So we went to Pokemon Guy, and we're like, hey, dude, can we get some of those Coronas to pour in the thing? And, we're like, Pokemon Guy, it's either we do that or, like, we piss in it because we don't have any water, and I don't want my car smelling like piss. And, Pokemon Guy, he's like, hey, man, I don't want to, give up my beers. And we're like, dude, please. And so, like, we start pouring Corona and stuff in the, in the car, and we start driving back to the place, and I was pissed at Jason. I'm like, oh, you son of a gun, like, you freaking blew my water pump, like, dude, like, I want to take my belt off and just, like, whip this dude. And, like, okay, so, for everyone to know, Jason was, like, 19, alright? So, he's, like, when I say kid, I mean, like, I don't know, 5 years younger than me, and, like, not an actual child. And, so the ass whipping I would have given him wasn't, child abuse. It was just idiot training, So we were going back to the house, and, we finally, get Pokemon Guy dropped off, and Jason's phone just starts ringing and stuff, and he's like, hey, can you guys drop me off at my girlfriend's place? And we were like, okay, so me and Corey, we were freaked out. We're like, he has a girlfriend? And so we drive up to this, like, one trailer park, like, after we went out of our way. And, I mean, it was kind of close, and I kind of needed water a little bit for the car so I could make it back to his place anyways. So we're like, alright, we'll go drop you off, right? So, like, he texted her and told her to bring out a jug of water, like, so we could put it in the car, right? So, he's going up to the trailer, and, we see this big girl open the door, okay? And this girl is, like, 450 pounds, give or take. She was a big girl. Let's just say that. And I was like, oh my god, right? So so after we seen her walk out and give, like, me the water, which I was thankful for, you know what I mean? We put that in the car, and we finally get back to his house after we ditched Jason, thank God. And when we got back to the house, I was like, man, dude, can you help me, like, mess with us in the morning? He's like, yeah, man, you can crash here tonight, right? So we go into his pole barn, and it's about 1 at this point, so we're, like, messing around with one of his four-wheelers and stuff, like, he lives out in the country. And out of nowhere, his phone starts ringing, and it's Jason, and he answers the phone, and it's the girl, and she's like, hey, can you come pick it? Can you pick this little demon up? Like, he's doing weird stuff around the house, and, like, I'm really uncomfortable with him being here now. And Corey's like, wait, what do you mean you're uncomfortable? Well, I guess he was dragging his ass across her carpet like a dog. I don't know. Like, I was like, dude, what, okay, at first I didn't understand what he was saying, because my mind was like, no, man, he can't be saying he's dragging his ass across the big carpet and stuff. And, he was like, yeah, that's what she said, man. So, like, what are we gonna do? And I'm just like, man, leave him. And he goes, wait, what do you mean? We can't just leave him. I'm like, he's not our responsibility. I said, he's a grown man. He can make his own choices. If he wants to drag his butt across his 400 plus girlfriend's floor, then, that's his prerogative as an American. And he goes, dude, we can't leave him there. And I just put my hand on Corey's shoulder, and I just go, shh, yes, we can. We're going to leave Jason at the Biggins house. And he's like, dude, he goes, what if something happens to him? I go, it is not our job to babysit Jason. And he goes, man, dude. He goes, alright. So, like, we mess around a little bit more, and then we both go into the house, and we crash, and we get woken up at like 7 in the morning. The Jason banging on the front door, and he's like, he opens the door, and he's like, why didn't you guys come get me? I was calling all night. And we're like, dude, you know what? Like, why were you dragging your ass across the floor? And he's like, well, she was laughing and she thought it was funny. And we're like, dude, she told us she was scared. And he's like, well, apparently, like, we started fighting and she kicked me out of the house. And I'm like, well, gee, man, maybe it had something to do with you dragging your ass across the floor like a damn Doberman, right? And he's like, it's okay, I got her back. And we're like, what do you mean you got her back? And he goes, I pissed in her laundry basket. And we're like, oh, you sick bastard, Jason. What the hell is wrong with you? You know, and like we argued, and soon after that, like a few days later, Corey kicked him out of the house. And like I think he went out and he impregnated some girl. It was it's pretty weird. Jason's kind of like an ongoing Far Side character, but I think I have a few more Jason stories, but we'll save those for a later date. But yeah, that's the story about how I got a new Impala, took it over to my buddy's house, met a creepy guy, went all the way into town, met another different dude. My water pump got blown. We had to go back to Jason's girlfriend's house to get water. We met a big nice lady. Then we went back to my buddy's house, and then he got blown up by Jason. And Jason had domestic problems with his big girlfriend. Alright, see you next time, guys. Bye.